Welcome in, everybody, to the Bitcoin Made Simple podcast. I'm your host, Corey Tusick. I'm back home today. I'm off the road. It was fun. I'll be on the road again soon. So if you go to a Bitcoin meetup, please do reach out. I will come to it. I hope you guys enjoyed those episodes. Great conversations, some of which was just hilarious. But you should, if you haven't checked them out, go back and check out those episodes. Before we get any further, I got to grab this bad boy. I should probably wear it, but this is the swag that Bitbox sent me with. So if you come to a Bitcoin meetup, you will be able to get some swag. Also, I have white papers to give out. So, but anyways, as always, get yourself a Bitbox O2 hardware wallet. Go to bitbox.swiss/Bitcoin Made Simple. Use promo code Bitcoin Made Simple to get 5% off. It is the easiest, most simple. It's like a thumb drive, basically. And it's got a touch screen. It's very simple to use. If a caveman like me can use it, you can use it. Get your coins off the exchange. Go to bitbox.swiss/Bitcoin Made Simple. Also, excited to announce a new sponsor, and that would be Barefoot Mining. If you guys know Bob Burnett, you probably see him on the Twitter sphere a lot. But Bob started Barefoot Mining, and Barefoot Mining has made it their mission to grow and secure Bitcoin mining, the Bitcoin mining network, by bringing a diverse set of operations to life. Barefoot Mining is always looking for more energy and like-minded investors for new projects. Barefoot Mining continually seeks partnerships across a variety of energy sources, including but not limited to hydroelectric, stranded gas, flared gas, bioenergy, solar, geothermal, and wind. You can find us at www.barefootmining.com or at Barefoot Mining on X. And that would be barefoot like barefoot in the beach, not bear as in like the animal. So anyways, welcome them on as the additional sponsor to the Bitcoin Made Simple podcast. Bob's been on the show many times, and we're also working on some stuff together in the Bitcoin mining world. So, it's just fitting. And if you'd be surprised, you think, oh, I'm not an investor. I can't invest in Bitcoin, Bitcoin mining. You'd be stunned. It doesn't take a large sum of money. So you could do it. And then, yeah, it would do everyone well to secure the Bitcoin network. And I love what Barefoot's doing, just because if you haven't read Bob's article, and I mean, probably 2.5 years ago at this point, he was on the podcast and talked about his thesis of how Bitcoin needs more wild horses, how there's, the bunny rabbits. So it's like, me running my miner in the basement. Then there's the whales that have, multi, I don't even know what to be at this point. Pentahashes or, gigawatts of electricity. And those guys are the elephants. And you need some more wild horses that can be mobile, can adapt, and can move from place to place. So I love that. As you guys know, I'm getting into more and more into Bitcoin mining. I think it's the way, as my episode, a handful of episodes back, suggested, Bitcoin is my future. And I see that as clearly as ever now. So it makes me happy to be supporting and get supported by Barefoot Mining. But yeah, I mean, I'll get into some mining stuff. But I want to just do a little different segment. And I'm going to go on, I went straight to Bitcoin. Oh, good Lord. I'm trying to type in. All right. So I wanted, I wanted to go to Google. I'm just going to type Bitcoin and see what topics come up. Here's the funny thing is that, if you go in like your browser and you can just type at the top and it'll automatically Google stuff for you. It'll go right to Google. Well, I just went to Google Bitcoin. But evidently I go to so many Bitcoin websites that, it was, it was showing, that all it did was bring up other websites and kept sending them to them. So we'll call this the Bitcoin news segment. So the craziest thing that happened this week was that Mark Cuban is suddenly a Bitcoin maxi. Wish that would have been the case whenever we did that Twitter space with him and Preston Pish 2 years ago. It was probably about like 2 years ago at this time. But apparently he gets it. So I'm going to go in. Let me find Mr. Cuban's Twitters. It's pretty interesting. I'll read through it on here in case you didn't. And if you did, then, you could, you'll just hear it again and take it for what it's worth. Good Lord, people tweet so much. Mark Cuban, him and Elon are like going back and forth on Twitter all the time. It's kind of annoying. Okay. Part 1. This is from Mark Cuban. Here's a contrary opinion on the emergence of Silicon Valley support for former President Trump, which, like all my opinions on here, probably won't be popular. It's a Bitcoin play. Not because the former president is a far stronger proponent of crypto. Thanks for saying crypto, Mark, instead of saying Bitcoin. That's nice, but it's just when they say crypto, it shows you that they still don't understand Bitcoin. That's nice, but it doesn't really impact the price of crypto. There it is again. It makes it easier to operate a crypto business because of the inevitable and required changes at the SEC. What will drive the price of BTC is lower tax rates and tariffs, which, if history is any guide, and it's not always, will be inflationary. Combine that with global uncertainty to the geopolitical role of the USA and the impact of the US dollar as a reserve currency, and you can't align the stars any better for a Bitcoin price acceleration. I have some news for you, Mark. It was going to happen anyways. Bitcoin was going to boom no matter what. So part 2. How high can the price go? Way higher than you think. Oh, look who's Mr. Bullish Cuban. Remember, the market for BTC is global, and the supply has a final limit of 21 million Bitcoin with unlimited fractionalization. Thanks, Mark. Thanks so much for teaching us. I'm really learning a lot in this Twitter thread. That sounds like somebody who just didn't figure out Bitcoin, but doesn't this sound like everyone who just stumbles across Bitcoin and then does 3 weeks of podcast listening? And I'm guilty of it. 100% guilty of it. It was me 4 years ago, something like that, where I was like, woohoo. And then in 2021, I decided to get active and start a podcast and probably annoyed a lot of people that had been in the space longer because I said a lot of crap that I'm like, man, I did not know what I was talking about. Anyways, I love this stuff. They always say it like it's the first time somebody came up with it. And the supply has a final limit of 21 million Bitcoin with unlimited fractionalization. Thanks, Mark. I know you're talking to a wide audience that aren't really adopted to Bitcoin, but, it's just so annoying. Keep that in mind as you consider what happens if, because of geopolitical uncertainty and the decline of the dollar as the reserve currency, Bitcoin becomes a safe haven globally. which means that Bitcoin could be what countries and all of us look to buy as a means to protect our savings. Crazy? It already happens in countries facing hyperinflation. And if things really go further than we can imagine today, and I'm not saying they will, just that this has a possibility somewhere above zero, then Bitcoin becomes exactly what the Maxis envision, a global currency. Mr. Marcus Cuban. The first comment underneath was, "That's bananas," which is great because, at one point he said he'd rather have owned bananas than Bitcoin. So maybe he's coming around to it. I wouldn't say he's necessarily a maxi, but maybe he's starting to figure out, he just needs to figure out that this is not crypto. So I love this moment, though, whenever people get to that point when they go, how high can the price go? Way higher than you think. Because these people have no clue. They're just figuring out. They're like, oh my God, this price of Bitcoin could go to like 150 grand. Could you imagine $150,000 Bitcoin? Yeah, I can. It will happen. I don't know when, but at some point. Yeah. Sorry, Mark. I'm ripping on you too much for fellow Pittsburgher. But the points he makes are something we all know, and I just, something's happening with the cultural zeitgeist. Here's what's weird. So Bitcoin right now is at $66,000. It was at 67 for a brief moment. I mean, like we're, the previous all-time high, not the current previous, but the one that, was, we were never going to get back to, was 69,420, whatever it was. We are like just below that. It's insane. This would be, take yourself back to 2021. Get yourself a BitBox02 hardware wallet. Go to bitbox.swiss/Bitcoin made simple to use promo code Bitcoin made simple to get 5% off. Take yourself back to 2021. In 2021, let's get the old quackulator out. 2021, previous all-time high was what? I'm going to just do for Bitcoin all-time high. Oh, what in the? Nope, didn't want that. Bitcoin all-time high 2017. Oh, good Lord. Good Lord. What was the price? It almost got to 20,000. Let's see. What was the price? Was it 19,000? Yeah, it was okay. 19,000. So let's just say and now I did. Well, there we go. Sorry. I should probably edit that stuff out, but I'm looking and trying to figure this out on the fly. And you guys are hanging with me. So it was close to 20,000. So let's just say 19,500. 19,500. Currently 66,500 compared to 69,000. We're like 4%, we're 3.7% under the all-time high, previous all-time high. Which would mean that 19,500 times 0.963. Yeah. In 2021, when we were like 3 months out of the halving, 2 months out of the halving, beginning of summer 2021, was the price of Bitcoin at $18,000? No. I think it was just around 10, if I remember correctly. And it's crazy to me that there's not this huge bullish sentiment. And that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. But it could come swiftly and quickly. Especially, I don't know. I don't know what Dennis Porter's sources are, so, we'll see. And I doubt it's going to be what he says it's going to be. But Trump speaking at the Bitcoin conference is pretty big. Whether you like Trump or not, I mean, this has now become a thing that presidential candidates know is important to embrace. To be curious to hear what he says about it. What he thinks, because I doubt it's going to be that we have a strategic reserve. I mean, sorry, Dennis, it's not happening. I'll be the first to eat crow if he says it, but it's just not. But he'll probably say some very favorable things. If I had to guess, Trump will probably say crypto instead of Bitcoin and crypto. He'll try to include everybody. But I don't know. I can't believe that we're sitting here and we broke the all-time high right after the halving. It's just, people don't understand how high the price of Bitcoin will go. And it is going to, this isn't me trying to be like Mr. Bullish, moon boy, but it's going to melt people's faces. I mean, people are going to lose their minds. And then at some point, it's going to just become realistic that is what the price of Bitcoin is. That is what your store of value is for most average Joes out there. It's interesting to see this play out. I'm really curious to see in the short term what happens. Because I always say, well, not always, but I do now, after I got through my mega bull phase in 2020 and 2021 when I was a genius, is I think it's a longer play than, but this is the old gradually then suddenly. And I think we never know when suddenly is going to be. That's probably the lesson to learn, and one that everyone should know, is none of us know when suddenly will be. Just know that it will be at some point. So with that being said, get yourself a BitBox O2 hardware wallet, and I will talk to you guys later.